Welcome, everybody, to another chapter of the Manga Melee podcast. As always, I am your podcast host, Jay, and I am joined this week, as per usual, by my friend and co-host colleague, Peter McGinn.
I
How
like
you
that.
doing this week, Peter?
Oh, doing well. Got one more day of work, and then I'm on vacation for like a week. So really looking.
Hey, same, same,
Yeah.
same,
Oh,
same.
what? Oh, are you doing anything fun?
Oh, I was thinking about going hit up Las Vegas, do some of the blackjack and things that I don't want to get the YouTube video age
Demonetized. Yeah.
restricted.
That's interesting. I'm also going to over there. We should hang out or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Anyway, it's so me and Peter are going off to Vegas for our vacation. That's why we're kind of recording this a little bit ahead. Um, this should be out on time. All things, if all goes well, is what I'm trying to say there. Got a little bit tongue twisted. But yeah, so thanks for inviting me to that, Peter. I've never been to Vegas before, so it should be a fun time.
Oh
And
yeah.
what else do I have to do in the dead of winter, basically,
Yeah, exactly. It's -1 right now, and when I land in Vegas, it'll be like 60. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Is it supposed to be that? I was looking at the temperature and it seemed like it was gonna be like a little chilly, possibly.
Chilly for most people, warm for me.
Okay, I'll look more into it because I gotta finish my packing tonight, actually.
I haven't even started.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what series I want to like watch on the plane and stuff. I've got a couple of things I want to catch up on anime wise that I'll probably download and watch from like I think Crunchyroll lets you do like downloads, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they do now.
So I have like a series I definitely need to catch up on for our Secret Santa we're doing. That's a two
Ah,
core
I haven't
that
even started mine.
I'm not even like halfway through the first core yet, so that's a treat. It's nice that other people are progressing. It's good to hear that. And I think I have a couple of manga I want to read too, but that's going to be a little bit trickier to decide on because I don't really want to bring any physicals with me. I might just bring like a book, honestly, instead of manga at this point.
Mhm.
Seems a little bit easier than carrying around a few volumes or some
Yeah,
shit.
speaking of manga, I was thinking about bringing my 4 volumes of Komi that I'm behind on, just because I think this is acceptable on the plane. Or I could just not read Komi anymore.
I mean, how close are you to finishing it is the thing. Obviously, you're like four behind. How
yeah,
many
yeah,
volumes
I'm
behind is
18
it?
volumes in, so I'll for
May as
sure read
well.
it. But they're literally just piling up on my desk that I'm just too lazy to read.
Yeah, I bought like the first volume of Kobe Can't Communicate a long time ago, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I saw how many volumes it was, and I was just like, I
Yeah,
don't actually know if I have if I had the shelf situation like you did, I would probably be like, okay, sure, why not? But my shelf space is a little bit more limited at the moment, so I have to kind of pick and choose what I want to display. I've got kind of a system going on, and Comey just doesn't really fit like that. And plus, I only have the one volume, like I said. I'm not a fan of having like loose volumes of random series around, like random volume ones. It's probably time. Have you ever done like a cleanup of your collection at all?
uh no, but I should. It's getting really bad. You can't see like what you can kind of see like what's below down here a little bit,
Hmm.
but it's piling up. I would I don't have any extra space for a fifth bookshelf. I have these four, and then that's it. And I have to find
Yeah.
somewhere else to store them. So I need to figure out maybe like sell some of the ones that I bought that I never read, then probably won't read. A few of them.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. Until then, yeah, like just I'll just keep stacking random volumes on top of each other until I figure it out.
Yeah, I've seen a few people on Twitter when they do like the new Vogue thing with the displays seems to be like the double deep ones where you can have like a series in front and then like a series that goes in front of that so you're not necessarily displaying all of them, but you
Yeah,
get like double the capacity out of it.
yeah,
I
my
know a lot of shoujo Twitter does that.
yeah,
Shoujo Twitter has the best collections, by the way.
yeah,
They always have the greatest it's almost like shrines are being built in shoujo Twitter, whereas like every shonen Twitter has like the Bleach box set and like every volume of One Piece taking up a gigantic shelf or
Mm.
something like that.
It's like it's aesthetically pleasing because a lot of like the covers look the same on the side. So
Hmm.
it where mine is just like a range of different colors, and sometimes you can't tell like which series is which, and it's I use it
Do you
for
have,
an actual bookshelf, so it is what it
do you have
is.
like any sorting system there, or do you just kind of
So
put them up as
yeah,
you
kinda.
decided?
I kinda did. So like like on my right is like romance. Over here on my left, yeah, I guess you can't really see it really, but there's like JoJo. Over here, like behind me is like
Skips
Seinen. So
over
I have like
prison school. He
yeah,
just skipped right over
prisons.
prison
Don't
school.
look at prison school, but like like I got like Berserk, Vagabond, 20th Century Boys, Kaguya. So I got like a Seinen section like right behind me. So
And
it's a little mix of everything.
if I recall correctly, you haven't even read 20th Century Boys, right?
That is on the list for next year. That
Man
and
owns the whole set and hasn't read it. That's kind of nutty. Was it the whole set actually?
yeah, I got the whole
Okay.
set, and I have the 21st Century Boy little like the Owen the OVA version of 20th Century Boys, 21st Century Boys right behind it. So I will knock it
Dang.
out. That's on the list for next year. I'm just absolutely burnt out from reading manga right now.
I feel that. Next for the next episode, like we should do like a mini one next time you're on and maybe do like a New Year's thing with like series that were like a 3 by 3 of series
Oh, I
that we
like
want to
that.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had an idea for what do you say anime for something we could do too, but I'll talk to you about that off camera as
Cool.
well.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So that's yeah, so it's pretty much what me and Pete are gonna be up to for the holidays. We're gonna get back like he's gonna get back right before Christmas. I'm getting back like on Christmas because my dumbass did mine like a day late for some reason because I didn't properly look at his ticket. So I gotta kill like 16 hours in Las Vegas or some shit, but I don't think that'll be too difficult,
No,
honestly.
no. There are plenty of things to do in Vegas.
I'm slightly worried about like getting to the airport at like for like 4:30 or wherever the fuck I'm supposed to be leaving. I don't think it'll be too big of a deal, but I don't know.
There's
I
nine.
always just get
Let's say there's 9,000 taxis and Ubers and Lyfts. You can
yeah.
pick and choose how you want to get to the airport. It's also like 2 seconds away from every airport or every hotel.
That makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking about getting like a hostel or something. They're not that far. Most of them aren't that far away, but
yeah.
I don't know. The website is odd. Hostels are, needless to say, hostels are not nearly as supported in the United States as literally everywhere else in the world. I
Yep.
wish we would kind of get on that because hostels are sick.
Yep. When
Like
I go to
they're great.
Japan, I'm staying in a hostel like 12 of the 14 days I'm there or something like that.
Yeah, I think that the movie series Hostel kind of turned a lot of people in the United States off from them. They're thinking that they're gonna get like tortured to death or
Yep.
something by a weird European dude. Who's yeah, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to figuring that out, and it's just nice to get out and travel every now and then. I feel like we've all been so cooped up these past 3 years.
Yeah.
There's been some stuff going on that's been preventing a lot of people from traveling. Not to date the pod, but
Yeah. Well, that was. I mean, there's a reason why like I'm able to travel so much, like after things opened up, just because when we were stuck in quarantine, like there's nothing to do, and luckily I was
yeah,
able to save money because all I was doing was playing Among Us in Discord for like 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, and that got old real fast. But yeah, so now I'm just trying to take full advantage of that and doing it. That's why I'm going to
yeah.
Japan in April.
I've been hearing kind of rumblings of like it's kind of like picking back up again as far
Yeah.
as like pandemic stuff, but I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, everything stays good and we can kind of stay on top of that as a global environment.
Get vaccinated,
Because
get boosted.
for sure, this is not. I mean, I don't even hate to say it. That's not even what I'm going to say, but this is not an anti-vax podcast.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
if
I'm on the podcast right
you,
now.
yeah. I mean, I doubt we're going to lose any listeners for that one, but if we do, Good riddance.
Oh
See you
well.
later. The anti-vax manga crowd. I'm sure there's a couple of them on Twitter somewhere,
Yeah.
but you know,
They have Aaron profile pictures on Twitter.
yeah. I mean, Aaron got like vaccine damaged, didn't he? Like, didn't his dad inject
Oh
him
yeah,
with
yeah.
like
That's why
shit?
that's why he's anti-vax
Fair
now.
enough. Yeah, that's why he wanted to do the rumbling because they were vaccinating all the children. Spoilers for Attack on Titan,
Yeah.
kinda, I guess, but whatever. Fuck it. It's yeah. So, pretty light week on news besides for Jump Festa, which happened this week. So, for those of you who might not know, Jump Festa is basically a convention, sort of like an E3 type deal, that sort of thing, a summit where all of the Jump properties, Shonen Jump, Weekly Young Jump, etc., meet up to just do announcements, give sales talks, stuff like that, that sort of thing, give accolades, etc., etc. We got a lot of it's honestly a lot of sequels and a few new updates on things we already knew were getting anime is what I would say. Pete, did you have anything that kind of stuck out to you that you want to talk about
Yeah, a
there?
little surprising stuff. Blue Exorcist getting a sequel. Um, when was this? Hold on, let me check this real quick. Like 10 years after. Not 10
Yeah,
years. Sorry, they had a season in 2017. So,
yeah,
um,
pretty like as far as like anime goes though, it's pretty like a long time
yeah, yeah, they
for
had
getting a
their
continuation.
first season in 2011, their second season in 2017, and now their third season in 2023. So every
Well, I guess
6 years,
it's on prog. Well, damn, and it matches the devil theme too, doesn't it?
666. Yep.
Okay, you know what? Honestly, if they're doing it as a bit, I'm here
Base.
for it. There was a thing going around where people were saying that it was like a new series. They thought it was going to be like a reboot. It was confirmed that it is in fact a new season, not a new like not a reboot. So if you want to catch up on that, I assume that they're not going to do the Bleach thing and have a bunch of recaps and flashbacks and stuff. You'll probably have to go and rewatch what up till then.
And then we're getting an original Spy Family movie. Or
That shocked me. I
that
mean, it
also
didn't
shocked me.
like not a ton. I just wasn't expecting it this soon. Is where
Yeah,
I'm at, I
it's like
guess.
yeah, it's like I could maybe the season I like we're going to get like more Spy Family. Like it's the franchise
Yeah,
is insane, but the fact that
they announced season two.
we're
Yeah,
getting a
right.
season and a movie next year. It's
Jeez,
yeah, they're pumping out the Spy Family content. That is a cash cow, and they are milking it right
this
now.
is
So
gonna be Wit's flagship show for a while.
well, we'll
Like,
see.
depending. I mean, as long as they don't get it like taken from them by Mapler or something
Well,
like
because
that.
it is a collab, but like there are rumors that like they might be getting like Witch Hat, which would be insane. So
Yeah, I would
fig-
like that for them for sure.
fingers crossed that they get Witch Hat because then that's
Mhm.
also going to be just a massive success. But those are the two that stuck out to me the most.
Was the Spy Family movie? Is that confirmed? Like a anime or a movie original
Yes.
arc?
Yep.
Okay,
The
so not
author will be overlooking it or whatever that they do, but it is a completely anime original.
any guesses as to what you think it might have to deal with?
Oh man, I'm trying to
I've
think of
seen
like
some people say like Lloyd backstory stuff potentially.
that's canon in the manga. So that's why I
Yeah,
don't think it is going to be that. Which I feel like that would be actually a really good movie. I also think the cruise ship arc would be really sick, but we're probably going to get that in season two. Oh man, I'm sure they'll just do like family antics. Anya will probably do something with Bond, and I'll love the shit out of it.
yeah, I'm really excited for that, especially if they get given that proper movie time and budget to be able to do
Yep,
something special with it, like the Demon Slayer movies or even the Sword Art Online movies
yep,
where they really get a chance to show off what they can do. Like, this is a good opportunity, especially because something like Spy Family is definitely going to be given that budget.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah.
If it
Super
looks
excited for that.
maybe even if it looks like kind of like something like JJK Zero, which I thought was just fantastically visually appealing, I'll take that all day. Yeah, give me something like
Yeah,
that.
agreed. Agreed wholeheartedly. Speaking of JJK, we also got news about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. That's coming out in July 2023. We got that compounds with the news we got about a month or so ago, confirming that it'll cover both, like the up to the entire in. Bleh. It will cover the ending of the Shibuya arc, like up to that. So that means we're getting two arcs out of this next season, which is going to be absolutely crazy. Um, there are a couple characters that when they show up, they are going to break the internet, in my opinion. There will be Chainsaw Man level simping
Ooh.
happening for
Oh, is
these
it the deadbeat
characters.
dad guy?
Yeah, but he's complicated. People will compare him to Jing from Hunter x Hunter, but he had like good reasons for doing what he did, and not Jing. Toji had like
Yeah.
good reasons for
Yeah.
doing what he did, in my opinion. As a slight spoiler, not spoiler to anybody who's what read the manga, but you know, yeah, I'm excited for that a lot. We're gonna be getting essentially to give a slight taste of what we're getting here. We're going to be getting a Gojo backstory arc, so that'll be really fun seeing
Nice.
like a teenage Gojo and his friends doing stuff. As well as like essentially a war arc will be happening after that, and it's a very intense one. Um, very fast paced, but a meat grinder at the same time. So if you're a fan of like Chainsaw Man, like it goes without saying, if you're a fan of Chainsaw Man, you'll probably like JJK. They're very much cut from the same cloth, like of the same time, of the same magazine. Like they take from each other a lot.
Sure.
They're kind of like Naruto and Hunter x Hunter in that way, is how I would describe them. Two supremely popular things that, while maybe not super related, they borrow from each other, and the mangaka are friendly with each other.
That makes sense.
So I think that if you're a fan of Chainsaw Man that's airing right now, definitely go catch up with JJK and maybe, read the manga too. This is in fact a manga podcast. We also got a new preview for Jigo Karaku Hell's Paradise. That looks excellent. I'm super excited for this just based on what they announced with the casting as well as the staff. We got some great uh, music from the same person who did the music for Call of the Night. Not the band Creepy Nuts, but like the ambient music, which was also top tier in my
Yes,
opinion.
very good soundtrack.
And just the voice cast, like Megumi's voice actor from
Re
Konosuba.
love her.
Everybody, I know a lot of people love her. We got Endeavor from My Hero Academia's voice actor, as well as a couple of others that I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but it's all veterans of the industry. It's not like a Chainsaw Man type deal where most of them were rather new. Not that anybody in Chainsaw Man is doing a bad job, mind you. It's just we were questioning it at first when
Yep.
we saw some of the casting because we didn't know what we were getting into. With these people, we know what we're getting into. They're people
Yes.
who have done all solid work, and for some of them, exceptional work even. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Say Ri Takahashi is like S tier. Like she's up
Yeah,
there.
and she's playing like arguably the top tier waifu character in the manga and slash anime too. So I would expect to see. I mean, I don't know. It'll be really stiff end of the year competitions next year, and obviously it's very premature to talk about it,
Yeah.
but I would love to see Hell's Paradise getting some at least character nods and maybe music nods if they can get it right too.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
We also got a Mission Yozakura family plans were revealed. Details are light right now, but Silverlink is going to handle production of the series, and it looks like it's coming out in 2024.
Yeah.
Mission,
I never understand like those like yeah, it's coming out in like 18 months, get ready. It's like
yeah,
I
similar deal with Kaiju number 8, which is also coming out in 2024.
and that came out with like a PV. It's just like why are you teasing us now? Like we're gonna
Yeah,
forget about it. I mean, we'll remember like 3 months before, but I never understood that.
yeah, it just seems like that's kind of an unusual move in the anime space. Like you really don't see that happening all that
Mm.
much.
Not as much as
So
yeah, it's pretty rare.
I think they know that. I don't know about Yozafam, but with Kaiju number 8, they have the breathing room. Like it's one of the top rated Jump Plus series right now. It's probably like number 2 behind Spy Family, I would say. Either that or Dawn to Dawn
It
is number
sells better
2.
than Dawn to Dawn.
Yeah, it sells better than Dawn to Dawn in Japan, which
Yep.
is where it matters. Dawn to Dawn is a bit more popular in the West, as
Yeah.
far as I'm aware. So I don't know why they did it for Mission Yozakura Family. Like it's kind of crazy to me. So I don't know. Maybe expect this for winter 2024.
Yeah, that's if
I don't see it being further than that, and them announcing it right now. That's
yeah,
kind of
if you're
crazy.
announcing 2024, it's got to be the first quarter.
Like they might. I feel like if it wasn't going to be winter, then they would have saved it for a summer 2023 announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's something big happening in the manga right now, and they don't expect the manga to be going on, then I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Other than that, we also got Kenshin news. I'm gonna enjoy pirating that.
Yep.
It's always morally correct to pirate Kenshin.
Banger tweet. Yep.
Yep. To shout out my boy Pete right here, right here. Yeah.
Other
There we go.
way.
Yeah. Well, it's there for me. It works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then we also got Chain Soldier got its first cast announced in a preview. I know Krissa is super excited for that. We got Makima's voice actor is going to be in that. Hiroi, who's Hiroi and Bachi again?
No idea.
Let me check a look.
All I know is for this, I
That's
saw.
The drunk girl from the
Oh,
drunken
from
bass player from
Bochi.
Bachi. Yeah, and then
Gotcha.
Philo from Rising of the Shield Hero
Okay. I
is
know a
going.
couple
That's the number 3.
people are saying, well, you have someone like Krissa who claims it's peak. And I know a lot of people who think that this is like one of the worst ongoing manga, like in general. That it is just
Yeah,
it dates back to like old school etchy trash where that's just not the norm anymore.
yeah.
So I will be watching the anime. I don't know if I will be finishing it, but yeah, I'm just intrigued by the premise of it that they had to change the title for North America, or I guess not even just North America, for everywhere else. Because yeah, it's called like Chain Soldier, but
Chain
elsewhere it's like
Slave. Yeah.
something, yeah, like Chain Slave. It's like, yeah, I probably don't want it to be called that anymore.
Do we know who is doing the? Do we know what studio is
Oh,
behind this
probably
one?
some random ass terrible. This is probably like Zero G or something, or Lay
let me
Deuce.
let me take a look real quick. Please be the. Okay, this is the anime. Studio.
Seven
Seven
Arcs.
Arcs. So they've also done
Okay,
nothing that I
Blue
know.
Period,
Okay, Blue Period. That was a pretty
Tomikawa.
decent one.
But those aren't really known for its
They're
animation.
they're not fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're an okay student. They're
So
not
it'll
bad.
probably
They're
it'll
okay.
be like a middling
Yeah.
adaptation, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Expect a light 5 for me on on this one.
that sounds right. Then we also got Mashal got a 2023 announcement. I believe we also got some. Did we get cast for that? No, we didn't. Okay.
I don't think so, not yet.
Nope. We got 20 April 2023 announcement. A1 Pictures from the director. The director is Tomoya Tanaka, who is the assistant director for Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So that should
Big
be pretty
get.
good.
Yep,
Yeah.
A1 and that director is a big get.
And then we also got our first trailer for Fire Force, which I never actually watched, but I heard pretty decent things. I'm a big fan of the casting that already, obviously, Gojo's voice actor from JJK playing Andy. That's pretty sick. And then Tanjiro and Ushiyama from Golden Kamui and Tanjiro from Demon Slayer being there as well is pretty sick. So I'm here for that. And it's also David Production, which
They're
that's
really
exactly
good.
what we wanted for it. So I'm hyped.
Real good.
Yep. I'm excited for that. We got a release. Did we get a release date for that yet? 2023.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometime in
yeah.
2023.
Not,
Probably like
hopefully not
summer or
April.
something.
April's too
Hopefully
stacked.
Let it be summer so we can have like a good summer
Yeah,
show. You
something
know,
else other than
summer's always
April.
rough nowadays.
Everything is
Hmm.
coming out in April. It's annoying, actually.
Yeah. Yep. What else is new though? We had a well. Last year's spring season was okay actually. It was pretty much just okay thinking about it. We had like Birdie Wing, but other than that,
Banger.
and then other than that, I think that covers pretty much all of the Jump Festa news that we're interested in. We got like owls are super adorable. I don't know if you're gonna be watching that at
I
all.
will be watching that. Absolutely.
I'm liking some of the character designs in this a lot. We got the general cast, as well as production. Silverlink working on that as well. Um, Nobody super
No,
noteworthy in the staff or like voice acting besides like the main heroine being Uchako from My Hero and a free voice actor being the male protagonist. So I don't know. It's always cool to see like Hokkaido stuff. You know, shout out Golden Kamuy, shout out Satoru Noda. Um, I'll probably give that a watch too, just because it looks pretty fun.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I think that covers about everything from Jump Festa that we really need to discuss. A lot of adaptation news, not so much the manga news, unfortunately. But hey, I'm here for it. It's
Yep.
part of the culture, and it gets more people into manga.
Agreed.
Uh, Other than that, for news, we got Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. Got a live action adaptation that got announced a few months ago. Apparently, it's going to have another announcement soon. I believe it was leaked that it is getting an anime announcement. Pete, I think you will really love this series when it comes out. It is so fun. It is like honestly, this is a series that you and Krista could both enjoy, which says a lot, I feel.
I'm looking forward to that and Dead Demon Destruction.
Yeah.
Those two adaptations look great. Yeah, I like silliness with like a hint of like whatever action comedy
Yeah.
hijinks that they do. Yeah, I mean, I have Bob tattooed on my arm, and that's what that show is.
And
Anything,
Zom 100
anything that's
Sorry,
like
go
that,
ahead.
I'm a fan.
And Zom 100 also checks that box that, we rarely see nowadays, or we're starting to see more of, but in the past it's been very rare where we're getting those like adult protagonists, and Zom 100 has this like fully fleshed out adult cast, and the issues that they're like the whole theming of the manga is tied around like adulthood and how much being an adult sucks because you don't get to do the stuff that you want to do because you get thrown into the meat grinder that is like office life or whatever career path you chose for Japan. For most people
Yeah,
it's going to be
yeah,
office life
yeah.
sort of deals. Yeah, it's great. I have the first like 4 volumes of this, and I enjoy them quite a bit. They're pretty thin as far as volumes go, but the coloring on the like covers and such is really nice. They stand out very well. I would highly recommend this. Yeah, hopefully it
What
gets a
would
pretty good adaptation.
say it wouldn't surprise me if it's the type of show where I read after watching the anime. That's normally
Hmm.
how I do my manga nowadays. Or it's like, all right, is this getting a season two? Probably not. All right, let's read the manga. So if it's
Yeah.
anything like what I think it's going to be, it's one of those shows where I'll pick up the manga as soon as.
Yep. And yeah, so that pretty much does it for news that I really wanted to talk about. I don't know if you had anything that I missed that you wanted to speak on.
For news, no, I don't think so.
Okay. So I think now we can talk a little bit about the awards ceremony that you took part in the past week. So
Yeah.
you want to fill people in on that?
Yeah, so last Wednesday, I was one of 12 judges for Roger Base's Manga of the Year. It was a 28 manga single elimination tournament where the judges got to vote on who advanced and who won, type of thing. We had a lot of good discussions. I may have lost my cool once, but other than that, it was a very fun and entertaining stream. Uh, yeah, and I guess we can kind of go over some of the results And Jay, you were a bystander for this. Maybe getting some of your thoughts on what you saw. I'm just gonna fast forward like a little bit and do like the top 8.
Yeah.
Um, so
We'll post the bracket
yeah,
in the whenever I tweet out the show.
yeah,
So we'll
sounds
post
good.
that for you guys.
Yeah, so in the One Piece bracket, so this is like the final 2 for each bracket, was One Piece going up against Akane Binashi. In the Chainsaw Man bracket, it was Chainsaw Man going up against Undead Unluck. In the One Punch Man bracket, it was Eden Zero going up against A Sign of Affection. And then in the Jujutsu Kaisen bracket, it was Jujutsu Kaisen versus Frieren. Couple of things going on with here. There were a couple of huge upsets that I really wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
From what I saw, a lot of people in the comments where, I mean, other than like the screaming shonen fanboys, that they were pretty impressed that the judges read a lot. I read 22 of the 28 series to most of it. There were some where like something like Kingdom, where I have 0 chapters in. I didn't read 700 chapters of Kingdom. But then stuff like Witch Watch, I read like 40 chapters of. It kind of got like a taste of that. And overall, really good participation, I would say, from the judges. Some choices were like whatever, but I think that comes with it. So yeah. Jay, did you have what were you like your initial thoughts, I guess, or just going into this and from the results that you saw?
Well, so going into it, I knew that the bracket that we filled out on the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it wasn't going to be anything like mine, just based on where I showed up, more or less. Um, I was really kind of flabbergasted that Eden Zero and Undead Unluck made it as far as they did. Um, I don't have I don't dislike them or anything. I just find them both kind of not phenomenal like some of the ones on this list. Like not to yuck anybody's yum. I don't think they're bad or anything. There's like one manga on this entire list that I think is bad, and it's pretty
Four
obvious
Nights of the
if you
Apocalypse.
yeah, like come on. That's it's a free space,
Yeah.
more or less.
And it got of the 12 judge votes, it lost 11-1. And the only person who voted for it was the guy who makes Four Nights of the Apocalypse content.
Yeah. I think that I really enjoyed this, by the way. I doubt Roger will ever listen to this podcast, but if you do, Roger, first of all, thank you.
Yeah.
Second of all, thanks for putting this on, and I hope that despite what I heard, you do it again next year because this was awesome. Even as just a bystander, someone who didn't even vote because I forgot to. Um, I thought that this was just a great thing to be a part of. I really just think that the formatting could use a little bit of work potentially, not to try and tell you how to run your thing that you've been doing for a while, but I just didn't really like the way that the seating went. I think that it kind of certain things were given a lot easier seating based on how they went up against each other. It also led to a few disappointing round ones where it's like, oh man, I really don't want to see like either one. Like I want to see these meet up
Yeah.
later on in the bracket, kind of. So like I would kind of maybe change more to like instead of like genre based seating, I would probably do like a sales or polling based thing because you have a pretty big fan base. I feel like if you collaborated with other people, you could get a pretty good sample size on that. And then I just think that sometimes the discussions were a little bit like not necessary. Like I liked them,
Yeah. No, there's
but
a
at
couple
the same time
tangents.
there was a couple of tangents that it was like, damn, this has been going on for like 45 minutes
Yeah.
or something like that.
I think there was two in particular. The Children of the Whales versus Black Clover. We were not talking about either of those. I think we were talking about Dragon Ball Super during that discussion, and I actually had to like reel it back in and be like, hey, what shows are we actually talking about right now? And then the same thing kind of with Frieren versus My Hero. Chibi went on like a 10-minute rant about how My Hero Academia sucks, which I agree. I just thought it was like super unnecessary how instead of like kind of like praising what we liked about it, it was just like a huge hate fest. But that being said, I also did that with Chainsaw Man, so guilty as charged.
Yeah,
I was just
I
trying
understand.
to.
I understand having strong feelings about a comic. Like I do get that as
Yeah,
someone who has talked about things that they think sucks at length on this podcast.
yeah,
But I think for like award shows, it's better to not bring other things up by tearing other things down
yeah,
necessarily. Like
yep.
it's okay to kind of, give a disagreement about, oh, I don't like Denji's characterization that much in Chainsaw Man, but I don't know. I don't think it's productive at those sort of things. So like, just kind of shit on what other
Mhm.
people are trying to not. And this isn't aimed at you necessarily, Pete. I don't. I personally, biased. Obviously, I don't think what you said was that bad. I thought it was funny because it's funny to go against the
Yeah,
Chainsaw
yeah, yeah,
Man,
yeah.
the Chainsaw Jerk sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I say this as someone who likes Chainsaw Man and gave it like an 8 out of 10. Like
Mhm. Yeah.
so,
Everybody was just like, because it was in the bracket at the time, it was Chainsaw Man versus Hunter x Hunter, and to me, that this was night and day. That Hunter x Hunter should have easily advanced over Chainsaw Man,
yeah.
and I
I
felt
mean,
like,
even with the few chapters it had, like Chainsaw Man hasn't had that many chapters
yeah,
over it. It's had like what 12 chapters since it
yeah,
came
it was like
back,
13 or 14 at the time of recording.
and that Phantom Troop backstory just like solos
It was
all of
really
it
good,
easily.
and I just because before that it was Hunter x Hunter versus Berserk, and if anybody knows me, I am a diehard Berserk fan, and that was just like that discussion about why people were choosing Hunter x Hunter, like I get it. Like you're making like very good points. I understand why somebody would choose it. And then when we got to Chainsaw Man, like all those points went out the window, and it's like, yeah, Chainsaw Man, baby. It's like, what happened to everything you just said about how great Hunter x Hunter was? Because I agree
Yeah.
with you, and everyone's just like they didn't bring it up anymore, and I was a little confused by some people's like logic, I guess.
Well, that's another thing is that like, you have to realize that like nobody there necessarily is like a media critic, right? So they're not
Yeah,
really not that okay, and I say this is without looking into most of the judges. Somebody there could be a media critic or something for like a true media critic or something for all I know, but a lot of people who, talk into the mic or whatever for a living, they don't really know how to hold the argument that long, if that makes sense. They
yeah,
don't know how
I
to be like
agreed.
logically consistent with it. And I say this as somebody like I'm not perfect at all. Like I'm a amateur as fuck when it comes to this sort of thing. So don't take it as me trying to say I'm better or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like that was a pretty common complaint I found in the listeners chat where it was like or the listeners chat we had on the server where they just weren't really consistent with their talks about certain things.
Yeah,
Like I know some people felt similarly about Akane Banashi versus Oshinoko, for instance, and thought people didn't really
yeah.
have great reasoning for that.
So some
So
questionable takes on that. I'm a little biased because I want Oshinoko to win, but some of the complaints
yeah,
I thought were just like they didn't make any sense. That
yeah,
would be like a knock on it. I also think like another thing is a lot of these like manga tubers that were here, a lot of their content is like scripted. So when they are on the spot, it's harder for them to come up with like what they're actually trying to say, which isn't really like a knock against them, but it's something like
they're not improvers
I'm way
necessarily.
more accustomed to that style of format than say somebody who like really thinks out like their videos and stuff like that. It's not the
Hmm.
same. So I know there's a couple people on here that I do respect their like manga takes that they really weren't able to speak up because they just it's like not their format and it's not their style. So uh,
Yeah,
I think like in a perfect world, I would have somebody. We had 12 judges. I think that was a little too many. I also think an even number didn't make any sense because we could get into tiebreakers, which we had a.
I noticed that. I was like, what? Like, we were in the chat, and I was literally like, wait, do they have 12 judges?
Yeah.
Are they gonna tie on this?
Yep. Yep. So I thought in a perfect world, I would do like an odd number, maybe like seven, and then I would also pick people. Like I get that you want like someone with like Forever who came through because he has 650,000 YouTube subs. Like I get that, but he read 9 of the 28 or something like that. Like if it's not in Shonen Jump, for never wasn't reading it. Um, he kind of like really backhand, especially when it's Black Clover versus Children of the Whales, kind of like really backhanded Children of the Whales. Like didn't even give it a second thought. Where everybody who read Children of the Whales knew that this was infinitely better than Black Clover, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So in a perfect world, I think I would have maybe like a requirement because somebody like Axel who read 26 of the 28 and he was very thorough with what he wanted to present with his takes was I mean to me he was like the pinnacle of like the judges. I
Well, in
really
a
enjoyed
perfect
him.
world, I feel like you set this up like in the first half of the year, and you get an idea of what is already popping off, so you can have like you can say, "Hey guys, this stuff will probably be in there. Read this for now, so
Mhm.
we don't have to read like 28 later." Like you know that like Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be. I guess you don't really have to tell people to go read Jujutsu
Yeah,
Kaisen, for instance, but like I don't know, something like
Ranger
I don't know. It shows
Reject.
people should do that. Yeah, exactly. Like Ranger Reject, or even something like Kingdom. Like people should know Kingdom is popping off enough most of the time and is good
Yeah,
enough.
if
Like
you're a manga
consistently.
tuber, yeah.
Yeah, like go and read. Like you don't have to go and read all of it, but go and find somebody who knows what they're talking about with Kingdom and discuss it with them like
Hmm.
you did.
Hmm. Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
But I
So
guess
should
you
we?
want to get into like the
Sorry.
results of it.
Yeah. Let's just go ahead and
Okay,
run
so
through that real
Akane
quick.
beat One Piece to make it to the final four. Undead Unluck beat Chainsaw Man, which to me was surprising.
That
I
shocked me.
I've read Undead Unluck, but I didn't catch up fully before the time of recording, and I do like it, and I was going to vote for it over Chainsaw Man no matter what. But I was really surprised at how high people viewed it. The biggest surprise for me was in the next bracket. Frieren beat Jujutsu Kaisen. Um, Frieren had my favorite arc in manga this year, and it was incredible, and it made like my top 5 overall. But I wasn't expecting the judges to vote Frieren, so that was a really base take that the people who read Frieren knew that this year was insane and
Yeah.
it was better than
JJK had a good year, but it was very fight heavy.
yeah.
Not a whole lot of characterization going on apart from like three characters
Mhm.
more or less. So, like if it was against something else, it probably would have been able to win, but Friar just had such a knockout
Yeah.
year and has been so consistently strong that I even as a JJK stand, like I would have given it to
Yep.
Friar for
I
sure.
I have one like the El Dorado arc in Frieren, which was the one that just wrapped up. I have like one minor complaint, and it would have been a 10 out of 10 arc. Like I would have literally put it like with Golden Age or something like that. That's how good I thought El Dorado was. There was just like one minor complaint where I just knocked it below, but it was still my favorite arc this entire
Word.
year. And that made it to the final four, which I was super jacked for. And then Eden Zero beat A Sign of Affection. This one was super close. I went 6-6 to a judge vote. And then so we had to use a tiebreaker and we went to the chat vote. So I knew Eden Zero was going to win the chat vote, but I was surprised that it was 58 to 42 in terms of percentage, which
We
was a
take those.
yeah. I was like that's a W for A Sign of Affection, even though that it lost. Because I was honestly thinking it was gonna be like 80-20. So
Yeah. Yeah.
huge fan of that. So then going
That's
into the
great.
finals, Akane versus Undead Unluck won. And then Frieren defeated Eden Zero, which to me seems like a no-brainer, but there's a lot of people who are high on Eden Zero. It made the final
Hmm.
four last year of the stream. Um, I guess it's good. I have zero interest in reading Eden Zero, but I will. The people that I trust with manga takes say that it is.
Better fairy tale in space.
Yeah,
That
that it
probably
is.
does it for a lot of people.
Yep, it's a solid series. So then our finals were Undead Unluck versus Frieren. And Undead Luck won 8-4 in the judges' votes. So just like a few takeaways, I am shocked Frieren made it to the finals. In my personal bracket, I had it to the finals, but that was pure personal bias. I thought it was going to get knocked out to um well, I did think it had a pretty easy walk to the Elite Eight, but I thought it was going to lose to JJK or Golden Kamui, and the fact that it didn't and not only beat JJK but also beat Ian Zero was a little surprising. And obviously the outcome, Undead Luck winning. Don't see a lot of talk about it on social media. I know that the last two arcs have been good, but it's just one of those things where it's just not in my
I
circle,
I just
and
don't agree with it.
I just like I want to
Just
get I want to hear somebody's like breakdown of like the Ragnarok
s-
arc. That
mathematically, it does not make sense. It averages like 15th on the TOC or some shit like that out of 20. I don't know, man.
it's
Just
like a
like
cult classic now or something. That I don't know.
I don't know, man. Apparently, Japan said that they could blow that out of their ass. Japan does not fuck with undead unluck like that.
Oh, it's I
I
guess
don't
it
know. It's
hits
like
harder in Western audiences.
it's just like if you look at the past like TOC without it getting like a color page, it was like 16, 16, 19,
Yeah,
or something like that. And some of those were in magazines where like One Piece wasn't there or My Hero or Black Clover was absent. So I don't know, it's just like I guess like it just hit the right pool of judges and the
yeah.
perfect. It also hit a perfect like cream cake. I almost said something inappropriate there. Kid, like I don't know. That like I was a little bit salty about it winning, but then I realized, hey, it does not matter. It really doesn't matter at all. Like
No,
I got over it. I got over it pretty quick, but I don't know. Just mathematically, it's a bit odd to me. But
very
you know what?
very odd.
I'll go read it. I'll go read it and see if I agree. How about that?
Yeah,
I don't think I'll think it's the best, but I'll probably feel a little bit better about it anyway.
I do gotta give props because a lot of these judges were in last year's and they said that Undead Unluck lost in the first round last year to Sakamoto Days, and
Hmm.
everybody said that Undead Unluck was not good last year, and then all of a sudden it got steroids in its ass and it got really good, and so I do like it's like a mixture of like I take it with a grain of salt, but these are some of these people I trust. They're thought out in what they think, and they are very high on undead unluck. So it's just one of those
Okay.
things where it's fine. Every now and then, it happened to me with Black Clover. I thought Black Clover was absolute dog water for the first like 46 episodes. I would have dropped it if I wasn't watching it with my friend, and then all of a sudden it got like slightly above average, and I was like, "This is super random. Why is this show decent now?" So I'm assuming maybe it's just like one of those things where like when it's like a 3 and then now it's a 7, it seems like it's a 9. I feel like it's like one of those things where it's just
Fair.
like
Yeah, that could be true.
that
You
that
know, I
that's
think
kind of the vibes.
I'll give it. I might give it a like. I've read. I read what we read for Manga Club.
Hmm.
All the like when I first joined, when we still had a Manga Club,
Yep.
and like I wasn't super plussed with it back then, but it was like fine.
Hmm.
So I'll probably just try and catch up and read more. Is there any creators that you want to shout out in the manga scene from the awards?
I want to give like a shout out to a lot of the audience more than anything. I saw a lot of people who were like, "Oh, I'm gonna give Sign of Affection a chance if like it's winning like 9-3 over Don to Don or something like that, where everybody's super high in Don to Don. Why did it lose to a Sign of Affection? I'm gonna give this a shot." And then I'm in Roger Base's Discord, and a lot of people were just like, "Oh, this series is like really fun and cute, and like the dialogue is great, and the themes are wonderful." It's like I can see why this won. And so shout out to people who actually give this a shot and uh, branching out of their circles, because I think for somebody like Rogers Base who is a One Piece content creator, his audience is going to be focused around One Piece and shows similar in that same sphere. And to really branch out and be like, hey, I'm gonna go check out Witch Hat. Hey, I'm gonna go check out Sign of Affection. Hey, I'm gonna go check out Friar and stuff like that. Huge props for that. I just, if I had to recommend something out of any of this entire thing, it's Children of the Whales. I I'm very rarely blown away by manga. In my entire life, it's been two. It's been Berserk and it's been Children of the Whales. Those two just knocked me on. I guess and Ochinoko. I just am a trance with that story, but it didn't really like knock me on my ass. Just because I know
Hmm.
Aka Akasaka is just such a great mangaka. Children of the Whales is one of those things where I didn't know what the story was about. Um, had no real interest in ever checking it out if it wasn't for this, and I picked it up, and I think a couple of people in our Discord can attest. I was posting screenshots every chapter I was reading. I was like, how is a series like this not talked about? It was my number 2 manga overall for the year. That's how highly I rated Children of the Whales, and it's just it's a masterpiece. If you're a fan of Attack on Titan, you should read Children of the Whales.
Hmm. Okay, great. Well, nice. I really hope that, like I said, I really hope Roger does this again next year. Maybe give him a nudge if you can. Just say
Yeah.
like, hey,
Hey, I
you
know,
should do
guy.
that again. Sorry about those death threats. Not that you did that, but
No.
obviously not. But honestly, if you're the type of person to send death threats over manga, have you considered the fact that it is just a comic?
Yeah.
Like it is for real, just a fucking comic book, you nerd. You absolute nerd. Go outside. Holy shit.
And I
But
get representation matters, but that's not the way to
yeah, for real,
handle it.
like I don't know, man, just talk to people like human beings
Yep.
cuz there's a human being behind the keyboard or screen. Most of the time.
Yeah,
Sometimes
most
it's
of
a sophisticated Russian bot farm, but most of the time it is in fact a human being behind the screen. That about wraps it up for us this week, I think, Pete. Uh,
them. Ooh, can I do
quickly,
one more thing?
yeah, go
I want
ahead.
to give my top 5 manga of the year overall too, because
Oh yeah,
some of the well, 4 of my 5 were in this bracket, but there's one in particular that didn't make it. My number 5 was A Sign of Affection. I think it's incredible.
I
Chapter
already know
30
what you're gonna shout out here, but keep going.
chapter 31, if you've ever had to have the talk with your significant other's parents, I think how that is handled in A Sign of Affection is done incredible. It is so much fun and just such a unique twist on like the romance genre where they can actually portray that in a real but silly manner. And I think it just really meshes with how those characters are and why and love the story. Number 4 is Frieren, my favorite arc in all of manga this year with El Dorado was just an incredible series. Frieren is the hardest motherfucker in manga right now. I love her to death. Number 3 was Kono Oto Tamare, which didn't make the bracket. It's kind of
I
getting some.
knew that
I'm
was
seeing
gonna
I'm
be
seeing it
it.
a little bit more on Twitter now. I think a couple of the people that I follow are getting into it now, and it's gaining steam. It's a if you like sound euphonium, it does have an anime too, but like this music club stuff is it's just a great drama comedy hint of romance style show that's just it's handled so well with human connection. Number 2 is Children of the Whales. Like I said before, one of the best manga I've ever read. Period. To date, it's now in my top 10 all time. It was just incredible. And the number 1 was Oshinoko. I'm just entranced with that story. I love everything about that story. So it's like my number 2 or 3 manga of all time. So of course it's number 1 for this year. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to those 5 in particular. And that's all I got.
You know what? I think I will go ahead and give my top five
Let's do
things
it.
that I've read this year too. So, okay, mine is gonna be a little bit different. Um, I didn't have to read stuff for a bracket, so this is all stuff that I just read in my leisure. At number 5, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean. I went ahead and read that after the first batch of anime dropped because I knew Netflix and Warner Bros. Were fucking it up. And guess what? They did. They fucked it up real bad. Not real bad. It's fine.
Kind of
But
bad.
yeah, pretty bad compared to the manga. The colored version of the manga is super dope. Highly recommend it. Araki is extremely goated. At number 4, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga has been pretty good this year, a little bit slow, and it's been kind of iffy on the release schedule, so that's what's been keeping it back a bit for me. And I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of some of the revelations that have happened. That I'll talk about more whenever the second season of the manga or anime is done next year. At number 3, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Jujutsu Kaisen. Um, it would be higher if there was like more characterization going on, but the art has been fantastic, and the villain has been a top tier shonen villain in my opinion. And then at number 2, I'm gonna give it to Golden Kamui, which ended this year. Fantastic, best cast in all of Animanga in my personal opinion. Just completely insane. I'm so glad that I read it. Shout out Everyday Heroes who brought it even more to life with their like glossaries and stuff they did for the scanlations. Just really loved it. Sugimoto is a fantastic character. Ogata is a fantastic, like, I don't even know how to describe him. Like, not even a villain, just like agent of chaos type dude. And I loved it. Like, I loved every second of reading it. It's a one of a kind series. And then the best thing that I've read this year is one that I've read recently, so a little bit of recency bias coming here, but it's really touched me a lot. I got to shout out and give my number one thing I've read this year to Girls Last Tour.
Wow.
Uh, just absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, it's probably in my top five of all time at this point.
Wow.
Like I gave the manga a 10. Um, it's only 6 volumes, but each one is just absolutely phenomenal. It's one of those things where like you read it, and if you're a certain type of person, it can kind of change your life. I
Sure.
think,
I
and
get that.
it definitely did. So that is my number one manga that I've read this year. Girls Last Tour.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
even it fucked up Miles that he didn't even read the manga. He read a panel and he thinks about it like a week later. Like that says something
yeah,
to about a manga or a story that can affect
yeah.
people like that. Yeah, shout out to that. Hell yeah. What a great
Oh
pick.
yeah. So yeah, that wraps it up for us today or this episode, guys. Sorry to kind of cram that in at the end there, but you know what? We had a fun
We
time,
did.
and it is what it is. So the next time you hear from me and Pete, it'll be post Vegas. Hey, maybe we'll get like a vlog in or something like
Oh,
that while we're
maybe.
there.
I say
Just
my
a shitty phone vlog.
yeah, I say my attitude in Vegas is a little bit different than like say AX, where I'm a little under the influence most of the time in Vegas.
Yeah, it's just gonna be me recording Pete like a cryptid,
Oh,
basically.
I'm down $500. Just me shaking a machine and getting escorted out of a
Oh
casino.
shit! I'm up $800 all of a sudden. Yeah, so the next time you see us, it'll be in the new year, post Vegas, post Christmas. We hope that you guys have a fantastic holiday and new year from the Manga Melee podcast. That is going to do it for us. If you want, you can catch us at on social media at Twitter for now at Manga Melee Pod. That's all one word. You can find Pete over at What Do You Say Annie, all one word, on Annie as an A and I, all one word on Twitter. And you can find me at Shardbased, all one word on Twitter. And like I said, that is going to do it for us for now. Have a good one.
Peace.
Bye.